Hey everybody. So this is the intro lecture video for week 12. We're kind of getting things back to the way it was, way we were. I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to review a little bit of stuff from last week and then I'll get into all this stuff here so you know what the expectations are for this week. So last week, we forecasted. And so the first step was to, as you know, if you have your own data set or if we had the prototypical data set, we would be taking the priorities that came out of either the policy class code or the accident department, and we would then search within those priorities the new cause codes, and we'd be forecasting those for future losses. And that would be the basis for our recommendations to management. You know, this is the estimated loss for all these individual recommendations or priorities. And then altogether, we got this amount here. This is what we want to invest in the safety program. And why do we want to invest in the safety program? Because the assumption is if somebody gets hurt and we investigate and we come up with a corrective action, it won't happen again, or it'll happen at a much less frequency or less severity. But our data shows a different trend. That's the basis for it. So we still, again, try the accident department like I did in the video, try it with a new cause. I think it was like mix overexertion or something like that if you're using our data. If you're using your own and your policy class codes, your accident departments worked, then go with those. So unfortunately, we have to, for this semester, for the class data, we have to switch and just use the accident source description. It's much easier. That's why I did 10. I did 10 priorities. You have to do at least the minimum number in which you identified as the Pareto analysis. Pareto analysis, wherever that cutoff was, you have to do at least that many. And then I went back to and actually copied and pasted a bunch of slides from week 1 because I want to go back to this was the whole course is about. We've been building up to this for the last 11, 12 weeks. This is 12th week. So last 11, we've been building up to this. And so I want to make sure you understand the concepts and where we've gone. So here's our week 12. The quiz will be posted Sunday. I'm recording this on Saturday. So here we're doing, first, for my online class, I am going to be holding a live WebEx lecture on Tuesday, November 23rd. I have to look. It was on December for me. And you're welcome to join us. From 2 o'clock to 4:30, that's what our normal lecture time is. We've been meeting in the computer lab, but the students, because it's right before the vacation, if they want to go home early, they can, and they just have to get on and participate. And so I will be doing demonstrations. Students can send me their Excel documents, and I can work through it, or I can debug if you're having problems. So I'm really hoping that in that 2.5 hours, I can get most everybody across that finish line, or to the point where now they just have to make things look pretty and kind of come up with their analyses of what their recommendations will be. In addition to that, I've got some guest lectures and also some readings this week. My original design was to bring in some work on the serious injury and fatality, but it was a little bit too adjacent to what we're doing, and so I wanted to bring in safety differently in safety training. I don't want you to make any recommendations to train workers. I don't want you to be making big actual program recommendations. What we're going to do is investigate. Look at it differently. Root cause analysis, systems approach, don't blame the worker. That's what our recommendations are going to be. But these guys, I like what they say. And I've got a few articles here, 2 online, so I got the URL, and 2 PDF. They all came from Jeffrey Dalto, one of the speakers' companies, but a lot of them have to do with interviewing Ron Gant. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So I've got the binder assignment, pretty much a summary, review those things, provide a reflection. And then we've got the update, and I'll get into that. And then you'll see down here, where the quiz will be located, and then you have to register for your presentation. I've got a thing set up, and I'll show you in a little bit, but it's going to be December 6th and 8th. I'm going to do the face-to-face class on the 7th. That'll allow us to have the 9th and the 10th. Let me make sure that's correct. Yeah, as backups, though I've got a lot of meetings scheduled those days, so it's going to be hit or miss when we can do that. And that's the last week of the semester. So here's the live WebEx for Tuesday. This is 2 to 4:30 Central Time. This is also posted on the website. Again, it's meant to provide help and do live demonstrations, answer questions. I'm not going to do any actual lecturing per se. So this video we're recording right now will be right here. I've got two demos. They're a lot shorter than previous weeks, and then I've got the actual guest lectures. These are great. I think it'll go by pretty quick. There are some key points, and I always try to close things out at the end of each one. Here are the readings. So here are the two URLs, and these two PDFs. They're like almost PowerPoint pages. So it's not like, so I think one is like 40 pages, the other is like 20, but it's not like you're reading like a book. It's like you're reading PowerPoints. And so it goes pretty quick. I just want you to kind of take away a gist, and I'll be building the quiz primarily off of these readings and the lecture content from Jeff and Ron. For this week's update, there's very few things here. First, I want you to copy and paste the results table, but not the full results table because it's kind of massive, but to break it down. See, look what I did. I basically copied the tab that had my full results table to a new tab and then started cutting and chopping it, and then made it look pretty. So I've got here my priorities. It's not sorted by priority, which I wish I had done, but I've got sort of the ranges going on here, and then I'm comparing the Wisconsin to the full data set because that's something I added this week. And then I started doing calculations of the full data set when the total incurred is realized. And I did that because this next week, for fun, as I start looking at additional insights, I'm going to look at the current total paid to the total incurred, what max it could be for 2018, 2019, and 2020, given the current data, and see how that might fluctuate and affect the EMR. I think that would be interesting. Then what I want you to do is start thinking about, I want you to choose or begin to start thinking about and selecting overall in the whole analysis, the tables and the figures you're going to use to answer the objectives of the study that have been laid out in the assignment, and I've talked about it throughout this time. Then finally, I want you to perform some housekeeping on your Excel. Start doing that now. It'll be doing another week after. I have a checklist here. So you don't have to turn anything in for number 3, but for number 1, pretty up the tables, put them on, and for 2, try to come up with answers to the questions, start sharing some of the data to support it. Go to the sign up. So I've got the 6th and the 8th. I've got times throughout the day. They're 15-minute blocks. You'll receive an individual WebEx to meet with me. But your presentation should be just 5 minutes, and then we'll have some time for feedback or technology issues. As I had indicated on this sheet and before, if you cannot make these 2 days any of these times, you have to email me and we'll figure something out. It'll either be on the 9th or 10th, or possibly pre-recorded yourself. But I don't recommend that because I'm going to grade you based on the quality of what you submit. And when it's face-to-face, one-on-one, I can ask questions. When you just present and submit it, I can't. And so you may lose points for that. And I still will be timing it too, so if you go over. So I don't recommend it. I recommend trying to get a one-on-one because I gave a lot of different times throughout those days. Okay, so the end is nigh. Mark your calendars. Your final Excel document is due no later than December 5th. Not on, no later than. So when you get done with it, submit it. Your PowerPoint presentation. Now I'd like you guys to turn it in by the 6th. I put that on there. But as long as you turn it in before you actually present, or if you're recording it, just make sure everything is in by no later than Wednesday night, because that'll be December 8th at midnight. Everything should be by then for sure. And then your paper's due on the 12th. So the following. So even though you're doing your presentation, you have all that week to work on it. I will have a recorded lecture. I'm actually recording the second part of it on Monday. And that'll be all up. And so, yeah. That's it. So if you got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'd really like to see the online group at the Tuesday live help session.